Hello, Happiness Abounder, and welcome back. To wrap up our theme week all about how to feel more confident, which leads to feeling more capable, which leads to actually achieving your goals and your dreams, I want to wrap up today by talking about organization. And I know those of you who listen are probably pretty organized as it is. But the thing is I'm all about getting things out of your head and onto paper. Because when it's stuck in our head, stuck in our brain, we mull over it. We start to write stories of anxiety, stories that we're not able to do it. We start to see it as bigger than us. And when we keep all that in our brain, it's not organized. It's cluttered and chaotic. And that can feel overwhelming. And it can feel like that goal, that dream is so far away because there's so many boundaries and things that you've put in front because it's all in your head. So today I want to talk about getting organized and taking action. And that's kind of a twofold thing because to feel confident, what we want to know is we want to know the how. We always want to know the how. And we think that will make us feel confident. But the thing is that when we list out the how, that starts putting those barriers in place because there's so many steps we have to do and we may not know how to do them. And so it feels overwhelming, it feels big, and then we lack the confidence and the ability to move forward. So I'm going to use this example, and I've used it before when I've talked about the who, what, where, when, why, and then how model. And I don't remember what episode number that is, but I think I used the same example then, but I think it's still viable now. I have probably 2 to 3 people a week come to me and ask, how do I start a podcast? Fun side note, I think I'm going to be creating a quick podcast class, walking you through not only the technical aspects, yes, that's the thing everybody wants to know, but the biggest thing that I think is the most important is putting together a strategy for your content so that you can maintain being confident and you can maintain beyond the normal capping point, which is usually about 6 episodes. You don't get to 400 plus episodes without some strategy in place, and that's kind of what I do in my day job too, so it's a good fit. But that said, neither here nor there in this instance, other than it's an example that people come to me all the time. And if you're interested in that class, reach out to me and let me know. Send me a message at taylor@happinessabound.com and we'll see what we can do. But that said, I get asked all the time, Taylor, how do I start a podcast? How should I do this? And there's always a couple of things that are the case. One, they've been thinking about it for months. And it feels insurmountable, it feels really big, and so they haven't started. 2, they're very occupied with the technical aspects, the microphone, the recording, the editing, and that feels overwhelming. And then 3, they don't feel confident because it feels so overwhelming and big. So when that happens, I always go back to this model to organize it for us, right? So the model is asking all the questions besides how. Because what happened is that this individual came to me and said, I want to start a podcast. It's been my goal. How do I do it? The second we dive into how, those barriers come up and it feels overwhelming, which is why they hadn't started and why they're asking me how. But the thing is you need to identify all the other elements first. You need to create the picture for your brain so that then when you get to the how, you're confident you're able to do it and you can take action on the how, which is the next piece. So what does that look like? Okay, what do I want to do? I want to create a podcast. Why? I want to share my message and tell other people that they don't have to feel broken, that they are capable of happiness abound. Because I know I've done it in my own life. Great. So, what? Why? Who? Anyone that wants to be happy. But specifically, people who are more type A, perfectionists, struggling with seeing other people being happy and feeling like they're broken because they're not happy all the time. But they're not equipped with the tools for emotional management. So, what? Why? Who? Where? I'm recording in my closet, and I will do that every day, weekdays, in the mornings. Okay, that's the where and the when. That leaves the how. And then I can write out a list, knowing that I have a bigger mission, knowing who I'm speaking to, knowing what I'm doing, why I'm moving forward, how I'm going to move it forward in my life in the sense of time and space. Then the how comes easy. The how is, all right, well, the first thing I need to do is I need to get a microphone. Second thing I need to do is figure out if I'm going to have this on my website or if I can use an app like Anchor. Third thing I'm going to do is I'm going to map out my content and see that I can do this sustainable, or I'm going to start pulling interviews, whatever that is. But because you've outlined all those other aspects before you went into the how, you can feel more confident about it. But you have to organize that. Put it on paper. Do not keep it in your head, because you'll forget the why, or you'll forget the where and the when, and it will keep on adjusting. But put it down on paper. And that doesn't mean it's locked in, but that means that it's there, it's organized, and our brain can start to move through it, and you can start to gain that confidence that you actually can start a podcast. Or insert your dream goal here, right? It can change, it can shift. Just because it's on paper doesn't mean it's law, but it does get you started. So that's the first thing to do. And I say that because you have to take action. The next piece of this, after you've organized things, and don't do it in your head, take action, put it on paper, is that you have to move forward. Confidence does not come before you take action. Like, I'm giving you all these tools and techniques that are action oriented for a reason. Otherwise, I could just say, hey, be confident. And that won't work, right? You're like, yeah, thanks. That's some great advice, Taylor. I'm glad I listened. No. You have to have techniques and exercises and do the actions. Do the techniques, do the exercises to start to feel confident. Now, it's the same thing with, we'll use the same example, podcasting. I can't tell you how nervous I was for my first episode. The first 10 episodes, the first 20 episodes. Every time I take a break and I come back, I'm nervous again. But those nerves have gone away, or when they do come back, they go away pretty quickly the second I sit down and I start talking. Why? Because I'm taking action. Why? Because I have 400 episodes of practice. I know that if I needed to be on somebody's show tomorrow and they were like, talk about happiness and I don't want to edit it, I could come in and I could step in and do it. I am confident in my ability and my capability to do that. I wasn't like that before episode 1 or even 10, 20, 30, 50, 150. But I am now because I can take action. Now, this is not a brag session about me and podcasting. Whatever your goal is, organize it. List out the who, what, where, when. Oh, actually, sorry. The what and the why very first. And then the where, when, who, and then the how. And then start to take action on the how. That is the only way, plus the visualization techniques and other things I've talked about this week. But that is the only way, taking action and organizing it, the only way you can feel confident to achieve your goals. If you're waiting for confidence to happen before you take any steps, it's not going to happen because your brain has no evidence. Which is why the first episode of this theme week is all about listing your accomplishments for evidence. But you can do this. I know you can. So if you'd like to learn more about getting organized and taking action for confidence, send me a message. If you're interested in the podcast course, send me a message. Again, Taylor@happinessabound.com. You can message me on Facebook at Happiness Abound blog, or even on Instagram at happiness_bound. I would love to hear from you. And if you liked this theme week or even just this episode, be sure to rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. You can leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Facebook, but review and rate and subscribe on your listening podcast platform of choice. It makes such a difference in so many people's lives. Your review may be the thing that helps someone else find this podcast and join us in this Happiness Abound journey. Your review definitely helps me keep going, and that means the world to me. So that said, have a wonderful day. Make sure you take action. Make sure you start with the what and the why and list how very last and above everything else. Remember, you can be confident and you are capable of happiness abound.